Hi there, my name's Lewis and welcome to the Neckpour. This is the whisky review channel where I give you my thoughts and opinions on a particular bottle of whisky from the Neckpour all the way down to the dregs. You join me here today for the Neckpour of a new whisky. It's literally just arrived yesterday afternoon. Super excited to get into this. It's another one of the Diageo Special Releases. It's another Talisker and it's another cask strength Talisker. This time age dated. I'm really looking forward to this one. Before we get into this whisky, I would like to ask that if you enjoy the content, please hit the like button below. Drop me a comment if you've got any thoughts and opinions on this particular bottle of whisky, any of the other Diageo special releases, or any other Taliskers. And please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you want to be informed next time I post. But yeah, without much further ado, let's get into this. This is one I've really been wanting to try ever since I heard about it. And again, with the announcement of the 2025 special releases, a whole bunch of the Diageo past special releases seem to have gone on special online. I know there was a Lagavulin, there was an Oban, and there was this Talisker, and I think there was another Talisker that were all reduced pretty heavily. But this is the one that really caught my eye, and how much I enjoyed the first Talisker overall, that I'll put a link to just up there. I was certainly, very, very keen to get onto this one. So this is an 11-year-old Talisker that's been exclusively aged in first fill ex-bourbon barrels. And they do specifically say that it's lightly peated stock. And I'm not sure whether that is specific or whether that is just the kind of normal Talisker spirit, because to my knowledge, I think they refer to pretty much everything they make as lightly peated. So I don't know how the peat level in this particular bottle is going to change compared to their more standard releases. But I mean, lightly peated, 11 years just in first fill bourbon. I think it's going to be really, really nice. It's going to really let that coastal, lovely character of the Talisker shine through. I'm super excited to get involved, get a little sniff, get a little taste, and see where we go from here. So yeah, let's get this bottle open and have a look what we think. So again, as with virtually everything from the Diageo line, it doesn't state that it's natural colour or non-chill filtered. I'm sure it is non-chill filtered, just given that it is up at cask strength. And it'd be crazy to chill filter it when there's no need at this sort of strength. This is a 55.1%. And again, it says here, lightly peated stock from ex-bourbon casks. It is pretty light in colour, as you'll have seen on the up-close footage. So again, I'd have thought putting colour in this, I think if you're going to put colour in, surely you'd want to go a bit further than this. But who knows? Let's get it open and get it in the glass. As with all of the Diageo special releases, it is really quite a pretty bottling. I think their artwork that they put on these, I think they do a really good job with. And, it's always sort of impresses me. But yeah, let's have a little listen to the cork. Not too bad, not the best, but not too bad at all. Let's pour ourselves a little drop out. Again, it's got that lovely straw colour from the ex-bourbon casks. And I would really like to think at that colour there is no E150, any caramel colouring in there. Because again, I think if you're going to colour it, for the markets where dark whiskey is really wanted, you'd go a heck of a lot more than that in my mind. And just already from first pouring into the glass, the smell that I can already get from here is absolutely gorgeous. Really looking forward to getting into that. So yeah, let's have a little sniff. Coastal, briny. Little bit of seaweed almost. But not in a wet, dirty way, in like a dried seaweed in the hot sun. I know that's a very, very odd sort of thing to pick out there. Little bit of that classic Talisker, I'd say white pepper There's something about whether it's white pepper or whether it's cayenne pepper, chili pepper, something like that. When I get a big sniff of Talisker, it tickles my nose, not in an alcohol prickle, but in that kind of spicy thing that almost makes you want to sneeze. Bit of that in there. But yeah, salty, and there's just that little wisp of smoke in the background, but it's not super heavily peated at all. I'll give this a little taste at straight bottle cask strength. But again, it's really gripping the gas, lovely and leggy, looks quite oily. And let's see what we think. Then we'll get some water in there and really get involved. Heaps of spice on the palate. You know, it's that chili, it's that pepper, it's those kind of things. Super warming, super coating. The peat comes through quite strong at first with the spice, and then the peat fades away and the spice almost ramps up the longer it's in your mouth. The finish is like peppercorn sauce. You know, it's that creamy, spicy, just lovely, lovely, rich flavour. But no, that's really nice. But it is, again, particularly the Neckpour is reasonably sort of hot. I'll have one more little sip before we start putting some water in. Yeah, as my palate sort of acclimatizing a little bit, that spice level's coming down. I'm getting more salinity, more almost wet rocks. And again, a little bit of that seaweedy kind of thing, like a dry, but a very clean dry seaweed, not a kind of dirty Isla Lefroy sort of iodine seaweed that's dirty and wet. This is a really almost like sushi seaweed that's been grown really cleanly, laid out and dried. And yeah, there's a lovely kind of then creamy sweetness on the back end, but that spice just continues to hold in your mouth absolutely ages, and that's really good. But yeah, let's get a bit of water in here. I'll hold this up. I'm going to go fairly aggressive with the water. Again, straight away you see the whiskey just split the second the water goes in there, and there's all those different compounds going on. And all those sort of volatile flavours come straight out. That peat really goes to the background on the smell. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more actually there, because I think it needed a little drop more. Now there's a lot of super sweet notes on the nose. Again, a lot more of those bourbon vanillins. You're getting almost a kind of smoky, salty caramel to that, which is gorgeous. That's absolutely stunning on the nose there with that added. And now let's have a little sip, see how it tastes. Wow. If I tasted those two blind, I wouldn't even necessarily say they're the same whiskey. With that water added, that's a really kind of complex but really lovely sort of mishmash of sea spray. There's a really floral sort of peat to there, just in the background. There's still that hint of the pepper and the chilies, but not at all overwhelming. Just a really kind of nice finishing note for it. And there's a nice kind of biscuity, malty sort of backbone to this bottle. Again, not really sure what it's got to do with jellyfish, but no, that's really lovely. There's a, yeah, wonderful, wonderful hint to that, and it is super, super, super coastal and maritime, you know. So I picked this bottle up on Amazon because it was reduced again from the silly £120, whatever it costs at full price, down to 52, which for whiskey of this strength, I think you're onto a real winner at that £50 to £60 mark. And again, I'd say the same with the special releases this year. Don't buy them when they first come out. Wait a year, wait 2 years. Someone's got loads of them somewhere that they're going to dump onto the market at a silly price. As I said, there was an Oban less than half price on Master of Malt. There was this less than half price on Amazon. There was a Lagavulin, I think half price on the Whiskey Exchange, and there was a different Lagavulin nearly half price on Amazon. So there's heaps of this stuff about, you know. Diageo don't make small batches of stuff. They make absolutely loads and loads of whiskey. And it's just a shame because why couldn't all Talisker be made like this? This to me is what the Talisker 10 should be. You know, it's only a year older, and just putting a bit of extra care and attention into it, bottling it at slightly better strength, not putting all that caramel colouring into it. That is wonderful, wonderful whiskey. And again, if it's still on sale, I'll pop the link that I used to purchase it down below the video. I mean, it's not an affiliate link or anything like that. I don't get anything out of it. And if it is still £52, I implore you, pick a bottle of this up. It is absolutely genius whiskey for the price. But yeah, to sum up on this one, this is just the Neckpour. It'd be really interesting to see how this one oxidizes, because the previous cask strength Talisker that I got, a little bit of that peat punch faded away the longer it was open, the more it was exposed to the air. So it'd be interesting to see whether this slightly mellows, because at bottle strength it's a little bit aggressive, but in a really nice way. You know, it's really well put together. It's not, and it's punchy, you know, not aggressive. So yeah, I'll be really interested to see how this goes, and I'll definitely be back to give you the dregs on this bottle. And I think moving forward, I'm also going to start adding a scoring system onto the dregs. Not just to give you the score, but to give a quantifiable measure of score and points per pound that we're spending, because that to me is a key thing, and value for money is so core to the principles of what I want to look at, what I want to purchase, and what I want to share with you guys. And having some way of quantifying, because if a whiskey is fantastic, it's really, really great, you know, it's a 95 out of 100, let's just say, but it's £1,000, then you're better off buying an 89 out of 100 that's £30. And I think that's something that, you know, I consume a fair bit of kind of whiskey related content all across the web on various platforms, and I've not seen anyone do that. So I think that's what I'm going to start adding to my videos. And I don't think it's fair to score a bottle on the Neckpour only when I'm down at the dregs. I've had some time with it. I've taken in some other opinions. I've done a bit more research into the bottling that I can then give a score, and how that translates into points per pound. Because ultimately, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the best whiskey at the best prices. And so please let me know what you think about that idea. If you think it's great, let me know. If you think it's a shocking idea or there's a way to improve it, again, please do let me know. It's something I really care about. But other than that, I'd like to say thank you so much for joining me today for this episode of the Neckpour. If it's still on offer, get yourself a bottle of this because it's great liquid. If you've enjoyed the video, please give me a like down below. Drop me a comment if you've got any thoughts on this video, this bottling, Diageo Special Releases, or Talisker in general. And please do hit subscribe and the notification bell so you're notified next time I post. But until the next time, thank you so much for joining me here today. I can't wait to see you again for another episode of the Neckpour, the Dregs, or just my general thoughts on whiskey. Until the next time, cheers, Salantia, and I'll see you again.